Social media is bombarding us with perfection. Perfect looking people in perfect kitchens making gourmet meals 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Let's get real about this, can we? I think these videos are great, don't get me wrong, but I also think that it can make following a healthy plant-based diet seem unattainable or almost privileged for a lot of people. That's why I like to share realistic, affordable meals, and this week is no different. I'm keeping it very simple and very real. So lunch today is in the car. That's all right. I was going to sit outside in the park area, but it's raining off and on. So I'm just hanging out in the car listening to one of my favorite podcasts. Let me know what your favorite is. This is an ELT, eggplant, tomato, and lettuce on not sprouted. What's the word I'm looking for? Fermented buckwheat bread. It is delicious. This is one of my favorite breads. It's so good and so full of nutrients. So I'm going to enjoy this real quick, and then I have to get back to work. It is pretty late on Monday night. It was kind of a long day, so I decided to take advantage of some things that I had meal prepped over the weekend, and I am going to throw together a yummy burrito. So I just have my, this is just red lentils and spinach with a little bit of water. Soak the lentils, blend it up, add about a half teaspoon of salt, optional. Blend that up and it makes a pourable wrap or tortilla. It's nice and flexible and soft. So this is what I'm going to make my burrito out of. And I have some things that I already had meal prepped, like a little bit of hummus I made with my meal prepped chickpeas. I'm going to throw that on there. And I have some rice that I cooked with some peppers and onion and some yummy spices out of the garden. Oh, and it turned out so good. So I had this meal prepped in the refrigerator. I'm gonna layer that in there. And I also meal prepped some mixed beans. And these are just a little bit of pinto beans and kidney beans. Both really good for you. A little bit of protein and flavor in there. And when I meal prep the beans like this, I usually just add a little bit of salt and pepper so my husband and I can flavor them as we go along during the week and add whatever kind of flavoring we want to those. He likes to have them in his breakfast burritos, so he seasons those up however he likes. And I have a little bit of tofu that I just seasoned with salt and pepper and popped in the air fryer for a couple of minutes because I'm going to heat this all back up in the air fryer after I wrap it up. Okay, and I have some hot sauce. This is some homemade hot sauce out of the peppers from the garden. And I have a short video on that and I'll link it for you. It is delicious, and hot sauce is something that's super, super easy to make. And this is kind of spicy, so that might be, that might be a lot. We'll see. I think it'll be okay. But I am going to flip this over. See if we can get this rolled up good enough to throw in the air fryer. And I think I can. I think I can do it. Okay, I'm gonna pop this guy in the air fryer and then we will heat him up and that will be dinner. And this does smell amazing. So it did bust open in the air fryer when I went to flip it. It's kind of a fail, but it's going to be delicious anyway. And you know, life's not perfect. And this is definitely real life here. Real life, realistic. Not the most beautiful plate, but it is going to be absolutely delicious and satisfying. And I'm just topping it with a little bit of vegan sour cream. And I'm going to have this, take a shower, and call it a night. It has been a long one, you guys, a long, long day. It has been a really busy morning, really busy. So busy, in fact, that I worked right through the morning and skipped breakfast. I don't advise that, but you know, this is real life and sometimes that happens. I think I said that last night too, right? That being said, yesterday was not a great day for nutrient-dense food. It was okay, not bad. I don't think I did terribly, but I don't think I ate enough nutrient-dense food. So today, it's about lunchtime now. It's 12:30. I wanted to make a smoothie bowl. It sounded really good, and it's something that I can put together really quick and pack a whole lot of nutrition into, and it's so delicious. So that sounds good for today. What I've started with already is a big handful of spinach, a big handful of kale, and 1 scoop of protein powder. And I also put in there a little bit of cracked black pepper because I'll be adding turmeric. I'm going in with a little chunk of ginger and 2 tablespoons of chia and the same amount of ground flax. Okay, and for all of this yumminess, some frozen banana, like about probably a banana and a half, like a medium sized banana and a half. If I can, yeah, there we go. And some frozen pineapple. And the combination of pineapple, banana, and ginger is just, it's so delicious. It's so good. You could throw mango in there too if you have it. A little bit of turmeric. And I also had a little bit of water in there just to get this going. I think we'll be all right. It's stuffed kind of full, which if you know, if you've ever stuffed one too full on the Nutribullet, it can be a huge mess. So we're gonna check and see how we did here. I think it'll be all right. I think it's okay. We did get a little bit of a mess from the overfill, but I think I caught it just in time. So no big disaster. Okay, and this color is beautiful. Look at that. Oh yeah, this is going to be so yummy. And I'm just going to top this today with a little bit of my high protein granola. I'll link the recipe to this in the description box. It's so good. So just for a little decoration, a few more chia seeds and some of my granola, which in this recipe that's not in the recipe in the video, I do have a few dried figs from out of the garden, which have been absolutely delicious. My husband and I went for a walk earlier this morning and we were foraging some wild muscadine through the neighborhood and had some fresh figs off of the fig tree outside. So technically I guess that was breakfast. But I'm gonna go sit down and enjoy this, and I will see you at dinner time. I'm thinking of possibly making an eggplant lasagna tonight. I think it sounds really good, so stick around. So dinner time. I thought I would share with you guys a super easy, weeknight friendly, whole foods, plant-based lasagna recipe. This one comes together pretty quick. You do need to prep a couple of things, but super easy, super quick. And I'm using, instead of noodles, eggplant. So you could call it an eggplant parm, or you can call it veggie lasagna. Either way, still delicious. So what I've done, and look at my beautiful little eggplants here. These are the ones that I grow in the garden, and they have done so well this year. I feel so grateful that the garden has produced so many eggplant because I love them. They make a good sandwich filler, and they're great in recipes like this. And baba ganoush, don't forget that, delicious. So I just chop them up, or well, I slice them up about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch thick, and I laid them out and I salted them and let them sit while I prepped everything else, and then I've just come back and patted them dry. Okay, and what I have here is just some cashews. This is cashew pieces, and this is going to be the vegan ricotta. And I like to make a combination of a cashew ricotta and a tofu ricotta. So let me show you how I do that. I have about 1/3 of a cup of cashews here, and I'm making a big pan of lasagna, so this really isn't too much, too bad. So 1/3 of a cup of cashews, 2 cloves of garlic, and about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and my little scoop here is not quite a tablespoon, so about 2.5 scoops there is about 2 tablespoons. And I'm just going to blend this up till it's nice and crumbly. We don't want it too thin because ricotta kind of has that thick, kind of almost grainy texture, so that's what we're looking for in this vegan ricotta. So let me blend this up. Okay, and yeah, get that off the lid there. Okay, and I'll just scoop this out, and it's kind of a almost a thick cheesy texture like that. And you can do either all cashew ricotta, or you can do an all tofu ricotta if you're trying to keep it low fat. But I find the all tofu ricotta just isn't quite like creamy enough for me, I guess. It just really doesn't hit the spot on that flavor that you get with the ricotta, like actual ricotta. So let me make sure I get all of that out of there. Okay, and I did not add any salt to this mixture, so I'm going to go ahead and add that now. About 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I'm just going to crumble in my tofu. And this is almost a whole block. I ate a little bit. I ate a couple ounces of it the other night in my burritos. So I'm just going to crumble this up, and this is like a medium firm tofu, so I'm just going to crumble it in and get that mixed around really good. And I'm just crumbling it with my hands. You could throw it in the blender or the food processor and just pulse it really quick, but this is just as easy and just as quick. All right, and I'm just going to mix in the cashews with the tofu real quick. Get those all combined. Make sure that salt gets evenly distributed there. And the only other thing I'm going to add to this is about 3 tablespoons of some fresh chopped basil, because it already has garlic in there and all the other goodness. So this will be perfect. You could also just add dried basil or Italian seasoning. But if you're going with the dried, I would reduce that down to about 1 tablespoon because it's a little bit more pungent. All right, and that looks good. So I'm going to just set this aside and we'll get assembling. I had to give it a little taste to make sure it was good, and it is perfect. Perfect, perfect. So the only other things I have besides my eggplant is just a basic tomato sauce that I just heated up on the stove. This is a tomato sauce that I had canned, so it already had some basil, some onion and garlic in it, and some Italian seasoning. So that's just a jar of that I heated on the stove. And I have a simple bechamel, which I added some garlic powder, salt and pepper too, and nutritional yeast. And I will link, or I will write the recipe for this in the description box, because this really is a super easy lasagna, and you can use any veggie, or you could use just regular lasagna noodles, or even a high protein lasagna noodle instead of this, and add the veggies in on top. Zucchini's really good, spinach is really good, any of that works. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put a little bit of my sauce down on the bottom here. And if you wanted to bump up the protein, you could certainly, oh, this has olives in it too. It has black olives. So that's what those big chunks are. But if you wanted to make a higher protein lasagna, you could certainly use a ground meat substitute, or lentils, also great. In previous videos, I've made like a walnut cauliflower ground meat substitute. You could use textured vegetable protein, or you could use like a Beyond meat, ground meat, or a Beyond sausage. I know they have some Italian sausages. I haven't tried those, but people seem to love them, so maybe give that a try if you like them. So after my eggplants here, get those in a good little layer, and my eggplants are all different sizes, so I'm just going to scoot those in wherever they will fit, just like that. And I'm going to go in with my tofu and cashew ricotta, a nice thick layer of that. All right, that looks good. And yeah, there's plenty of protein in here with just the tofu. It still has plenty of protein in there. So I'm going to go in with a little bit more of my sauce, and it's already looking beautiful and smelling amazing. So a little bit more sauce there. And this was a quart jar of sauce, so it's about equivalent to one of the larger cans of crushed tomatoes or tomato sauce. All right, I'm going to go in with my next layer of eggplant. Oh, this is going to be really good. I know summer usually isn't the time for making lasagna, but I just, I had like a craving for it. It just sounded so good. And I had all of these eggplants and all of this fresh basil in the garden, so this just sounded really perfect. All right, and I'll go in with the rest of my ricotta. And I thought I might need to chop up that other eggplant. And I think that will be just the perfect amount for the top of our lasagna. I almost spilled that. Don't leave your handles laying like that. That can make a huge mess. Don't do that. All right, this looks good. And I'll go in with the rest of my sauce. This turned out to be just about the perfect amount of everything. I think I could have used just a little bit more ricotta, but if you use a whole block of tofu and you haven't eaten some out of it like I did, it would be the perfect amount. It would turn out just right. So that in there. And you don't have to worry too much about spreading it out, the tomato sauce, because as it cooks, it will kind of spread out on its own. Okay, and I think I will have to chop this guy up, but we'll see how far this goes. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and chop him up. He's such a beautiful, perfect little eggplant. I almost hate to eat him. He's like picture perfect. Look how beautiful he is. I know. I'm a weirdo, I know, I can't help it, it's okay. It's just, you know, any other gardeners out there, if you feel like I do, it's just such a blessing and so satisfying to grow some of your own food. I highly recommend, if anybody's on the fence about starting a garden, or maybe just starting a little herb garden or a salad or a tea garden, you can do those like right on your balcony or right on your front porch or even a windowsill. If you're on the fence about starting it, I highly recommend it. It's so satisfying and can be such a relaxing hobby. Now, a big garden can be a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you about that, but it's still one of the most satisfying things that you can do to grow some of your own food. All right, preaching time is over. Okay, and this one, since it didn't get salted and left to sit out, it might be a little bit different in texture than the rest of the eggplant in there, but it's just me eating it. So, and Tony might have some. Sometimes he likes to have some of it, sometimes not. He's not like a big eggplant fan like I am, but he'll probably eat some of it, but he probably won't notice, and I won't say anything about it, so. All right, and on top of this, I'm just going to go in with my beautiful bechamel here. So, in place of this, you could just use a shredded vegan cheddar or make a cashew cheddar sauce, but I really love the traditional lasagna that's made with a nice, thick, creamy bechamel sauce. All right, and that looks good, and I'm just going to make sure everything is covered with that bechamel sauce. And I am going to cover this with aluminum foil. I already have my oven preheated to 375. I'm going to cover it with the foil, bake it for 35 to 40 minutes, and then uncover it and bake it for another 10 to 15 minutes. And while that's doing that, I have a little bit of daylight left. The dog and I are going to go out for an evening walk. Ooh, she's hot. Right out of the oven, nice and hot and bubbly, and it smells amazing. It smells amazing. So I'm just going to let this cool for about 20 minutes, and I think while it cools, I'm just going to pop some broccoli in the air fryer. If you haven't tried this, it's delicious. It roasts up nice, just broccoli with a little bit of salt. Perfect. And also today, if you saw the big pile of peppers that were on the counter earlier, they have now turned into a delicious hot sauce. And I have a short on that, I'll link it. It's so good. You would tell me if I have something on my face, right? Okay, so I can't wait any longer. It probably could cool off 5 or 10 minutes more, but I am starving. It's late. It's time to eat and call it a night. So I just had my air fried broccoli, and I didn't toast it too much. If you put it in the air fryer at air fry or 400 degrees and from frozen in about 4 to 5 minutes, it's nice and like steamed and really good, perfect. You can roast it a little bit further than that, which is also delicious to get a little bit of color on it. But for me tonight, this is perfect. This is just right. So, just going to see if I can cut out a piece of this. And I'll probably put about half of this in the refrigerator to eat for the rest of the week for lunch. And the other half I'll put in the freezer. I'll individually portion it and put in the freezer, and it will last for a couple of months in the freezer, in the deep freezer, for quick meals. So that's why I make a giant, huge pot of it, because you know, Lasagna's always good. It's always good. All right, this looks just about perfect. I am just going to give it a taste. Yeah, it's still really, really hot. That hits the spot. If you're craving lasagna and want to keep it healthier, this is the way to go. I hope you try this one. All right, I am back from a nice walk. Tony and I were enjoying the nice weather outside this morning, and I thought this would be a good morning for a nice juice. I've got a project I want to do with some carrot pulp, so I'm going to include carrots in my green juice this morning. And man, I'm telling you, the weather outside right now is just amazing. There's been a little bit of a shift in the air and it's nice and cool out. I don't think it's gonna stay. It's still mid-August here, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna get hot again. But for this morning, it was really, really nice. So I'm gonna have a nice juice. I've got a cucumber from out of the garden, a nice big fat juicy one, my carrots, a hunk of ginger, some lemon, and some kale. And I have some beautiful wild foraged muscadines. And if you're not from the South, you probably have never had a muscadine or heard of it. It's commonly used here. They're native to Southeast Northern America. And they're like a wild grape. They're really sweet and delicious, and they have kind of a musky flavor. They're seedless, so well, the seeds are soft, but they're kind of like a wild grape, and they're really sweet when they're ripe like this. So if you can go out and forage them, which they grow all over prolifically here where I am, if you can go out and forage them, they're really tasty for jellies and juices, and a lot of people make wine out of the muscadines, which it's really good. It's delicious, really popular here in the South. So if you've never tried it, I highly recommend. They're very tasty. So this is what I'm using for my sweet element in my juice this morning. It's going to be really good. So, I've never had this combination before. We're going to check it out. I really would have preferred to have some apples, and I used the large strainer on the juicer this morning, which let through a little bit more pulp than I generally like. So I'm just straining it through this little mesh strainer again, because some of the larger seeds from the cucumber got in there, and I prefer not to try to choke those down. Okay, I have to admit that this is not this is not the most appetizing color of green juice that I have had, but I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be drinkable at the very least. So let me check this out. We'll find out. We'll find out together. So yeah, kind of a weird swamp water color. Okay, let's see. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It could use a little bit of something sweet, like maybe an apple or a pear. Either one of those would be really good. It's just the main flavor that you taste is the ginger and the lemon. So the other flavors, you don't really taste them. But it's just not a very appetizing color. So maybe with like a nice bright green apple or some pineapple or a pear in there, just for a little sweetness, you know, get that sugar going in the morning. Need that kick of sugar from the sweetness of the fruit. This isn't bad though. It's definitely drinkable and full of nutrients. So it has been a couple hours since my juice and I have gotten hungry. Been really busy out there, just tidying up around the house today. This week my work days to go into the office were Monday and Tuesday. So today is the day for cleaning up and getting some work at home done. So I thought this sounded really good. I have these beautiful fresh heirloom tomatoes and I am going to make a tomato and avocado toast. I think I may top that with some sprouts. I'm going to check my sprouts and see if they're ready. But first, what I like to do is just layer up my tomatoes on my sprouted bread here. Actually, this is, I keep calling it sprouted. It's fermented buckwheat bread that I made over the weekend. It's one of my favorite breads to make, and I believe I have made a video, a meal prep video, where I made this bread. It may have been slightly different though, but this one is just fermented buckwheat and oat flour. And it makes a really nice nutrient-dense bread for sandwiches and toasts. It's really savory too, which I like for sandwiches. It's not overly sweet. So Tony and I are both going to have sandwiches today. Oh, these tomatoes look so good. I love a good fresh heirloom tomato. So I'm just going to pile the tomatoes on there and give them a little bit of salt. Where did my salt go? Over here on the table. Okay. Just gonna hit it with a little bit of salt and pop this in the air fryer a few minutes to toast up. And then I'll top it with my avocado. Okay, this looks good. Mr. Tony is still out running errands, so I'll wait to put his toasty in the air fryer for when he gets back. Or he can do it, we'll see. Anyway, tomatoes are nice and juicy and toasted. Bread is toasty. I'm just going to hit this with a little bit of balsamic vinegar. And I'm just using my cheap balsamic here. Lots of other flavor going on. No need to break out the expensive bottle of balsamic for a sandwich like this, I don't think. The tomatoes have so much flavor on their own. So I'm gonna hit that with a little balsamic, a little bit of nutritional yeast, and my beautiful avocado. I love it when it works out like that. He looks like a really good one. Scoot him on there. And we'll save the other half of the avocado for Mr. Tony. Perfect. Absolute perfection. Okay. And I'm just going to top my avocado with a little bit of everything bagel seasoning. It goes so well on this sandwich. Perfect. Okay. I can't wait to dig into this. It's gonna be so good. I say that about everything, don't I? Almost everything. My juice this morning wasn't a complete success, but I think this makes up for it. So, cheers. It has been another busy day. So I decided I would take advantage of some things that I had meal prepped and put a little bit of fresh stuff with it too. So meal prepped, I already had some red beans and pinto beans and some grains. This is a mixture. One of my favorite ways to make grains is it's a mixture of brown rice, red quinoa, and buckwheat, and together they're delicious. So I thought just the beans, grains, and greens bowl sounded good. And I'm just topping that with some tofu that I seasoned with some turmeric, black pepper, and smoked paprika. And I have some sprouts here, and I have some kale, and I have just a simple buffalo style sauce. Oh, it's so good too. And this was just soaked cashews with some of my homemade hot sauce. It's really hot too. It's really hot, and it is delicious. So I'm just going to top this with my tofu right there in the middle. And I am hungry. So a couple ounces of tofu. And this is packed with nutrition and protein with the tofu, the beans, the buckwheat, and the quinoa. This is a high protein, easy meal. And that's one of the reasons why I like this grain mixture so much, is it is really high in protein and fiber. So this should be a really satisfying meal. And I'm just going to top it with my buffalo sauce. Oh yeah, this is going to be so good. It has been so far a really busy week. And yeah, I haven't done much snacking, which I guess is good. I guess that's good. If I do have some snacks tomorrow, I will definitely include those in the video. So there's my sprouts, and this looks delicious, doesn't it? A good, hearty, satisfying bowl of food. Simple, inexpensive, and tasty. That's the most important part. It has to be tasty. Good morning, everybody. So this morning I started out by snacking on some of these dates, a couple dates, the dog and I. The dog actually loves dates. Pretty sure dogs can eat those, right? I may need to look at that. Yeah, if you're a pet owner, let me know. Are dates good for dogs? He seems to really love them. I should have checked before I fed it to him. I am not the best pet parent here today. Okay, anyway, I'm having a strawberry smoothie this morning, and what I've got going on in here is 2 cups of kale, a cup of almond milk, 2 cups of strawberries, a scoop of vanilla protein powder, and I'm just going to add in a little bit of beetroot crystal powder. There we go. Just a little bit. It gives it a nice earthy flavor. It's not too overpowering, and the beetroot powder is super good for circulation. And again, my chia seed scoop is gone, but that's okay. I'm going to go in with about 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, and this will be breakfast this morning. And I think this afternoon Mr. Tony and I are going to go to Costco to stock up on some bulk goods and see if we can get any good deals. One of the things I like to buy at Costco in bulk are these big boxes of, you can actually like get a case of dates, but I don't go through them that quickly. But I like to get these pitted dates. I'm actually doing a side project. I'm trying to grow a few date palms. So if I can get some to sprout, I will definitely let you know. So far, no luck, but it takes several weeks. Takes several weeks for them to germinate. So if I get some to germinate and get some date palms going, I will definitely let you know. And this is the protein powder I'm using today. And I'm gonna look and see if I can get a big pack of this at Costco. Sometimes they have it, sometimes not. It's hit or miss, but I like the flavor of this one, and I really like the protein blend that it has in it. It has pea protein, and it has flax protein, and it also has some other really good things in there like pumpkin seeds, and let's see, what else do we have going on in here? Oh, it does have, I didn't realize it had stevia in it. Not that much though, so that's okay. But for the price, this is a really good protein, and it's all organic, so we like that too. Oh, this looks so good. Strawberries just sounded really good this morning. So I'm glad I had some strawberries in the freezer. Oh yeah, this is going to be tasty, tasty. Gonna hit the spot in my tall Pilsner glass here. I know some of you probably recognize the logo that I try to hide that's on this bar glass, but these were free, and it was a whole set of like 6 glasses, and they're like the perfect size for a smoothie or a juice, so I really like them. All right, for lunch today, leftover eggplant lasagna. Leftover lasagna has to be like one of the best leftovers. It's so much better after it has set and all the flavors have melded. That's just how I feel. I don't know who else feels the same. I'm sure some of you do. But I wanted to make sure and eat before I go grocery shopping. 2 of the best money-saving grocery tips I can give you are, number 1, eat before you go, and the other is always have a list and try your best to stick to it. So I'm going to eat this real quick, look over my list. I'll just basically be buying bulk things today. So it's not a very long list, but it's going to be a lot of stuff. So I'm going to sit down and have this before we go, and I think I'll have to tame my wild frizzy hair before I leave the house. It's just so humid here, you all. If you have any kind of natural curl to your hair, it's just poof. It's Frizz City. Nothing I can do about that besides put it in a ponytail or a braid. So I'll see you around dinner time, and I'll let you know what I got at Costco. We decided to go out for dinner tonight, a fun little impromptu date night, lots of fun. So this little Mexican place actually has vegan rice and beans and vegan enchiladas that were filled with mushrooms, spinach, onions, peppers, and zucchini. They were delicious. This morning I am starting the day with another juice. I did pick up some organic apples at Costco. This big bag of apples was really reasonable. Now that I look back, I should have probably gotten 2 bags. It was only less than $5 for this entire big bag of apples, which is a really good price for organic apples here where I live. Also, the bananas were really cheap. The organic bananas this time, a big bunch of bananas. This huge bunch of bananas for only $1.99. So, good price on organic produce this week at Costco. I wish I would have stocked up a little bit more, but my focus was really on like bulk ingredients for nuts and rice and that kind of thing. So I still have to unload those big huge bags out of the car this morning. It was so late when we got home that I just didn't bother with it. So I'm going to have my juice real quick, and I took a bite of the apple. I couldn't help myself. I'm hungry. So I'm going to just get my juice going and start my day. I've got a few garden chores to do this morning. And today is Mr. Tony's birthday. So we are going to take a trip out to the lake and just enjoy the day out there. I might throw some veggies on the grill. We'll see. I don't know. I might just pack a sandwich. But we're going to start with this today. This looks really good. Looks good to me. Oh, this juice is such a pretty color, and it is so tasty. So I'll start with this, and I'll see. I'll probably have an avocado toast or something like that in a little bit. Maybe just some fruit. So for lunch, I am just having some rice and broccoli steamed. I'm just going to top that with a little bit of salt. I decided I better eat something before we head out to the lake, and I'll probably just pack a couple bananas and an apple to snack on while we're there. And my husband and I also shared a piece of this raw coconut cake. I will link the video. I'm making a short video for Instagram on this recipe, and I will link it in the description box. It's amazing. It's really good. So I'm gonna have my lunch and I will catch back up with you at dinner time. So yeah, yesterday, our trip to the lake, we had so much fun. So much fun. But we got back really late and I did not feel like cooking anything. So I didn't film what I had. I just snacked on hummus and crackers and some more fruit. But this morning I woke up so hungry. So I thought I would share as the last meal video this week is what I'm having for breakfast, which is a really nourishing tofu scramble. So what I have in here is just some crumbled up tofu, extra firm tofu. It's about a cup of tofu, a quarter cup of soy milk, and 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. And I have turmeric and black pepper. I have a few potatoes I'm going to air fry, and I have some veggies just going in the pan. And I just have some chopped up kale. I thought that was hotter than that. That's okay. Have some chopped up kale, some red onion, and some red bell pepper. And the potatoes, I think I'm just going to pop in the air fryer. They're pre-cooked. I like to have these on hand for meal prep. I just boil up a big pot of potatoes and have them ready to go. This is really like the best way to do this. So I'm gonna pop these in the air fryer with just a little bit of salt and pepper while my veggies cook, and then I'll get my tofu going. And this will be a good, nourishing meal for breakfast. All right, these are looking good. I don't want to overcook this, just till the onions and bell peppers are just a little bit tender. This is good too. You know, tofu and the kale are both high in iron, so pair that with a little bit of bell pepper, and that has a lot of vitamin C, which helps you absorb that iron. So not only does it taste good together, it is super healthy for you. So just good little tidbit of info there. And I'm just going to give this a mix around. Add in my turmeric and black pepper. Oh, sorry, that was really loud. I'm really rough on plates, y'all. You might notice a lot of my stuff is chipped. I'm not very good at taking care of dishware. I try to do a little bit better, but it'll be okay. That's why I buy cheap stuff. These cute little stands here, I have several of these. 2 of them I've already chipped, but they're great for putting out your spices on. But I got these at the Dollar Tree, these little bowls also that are super cute. And I think these were only like 50 cents a stand. So yeah. Some things are worth buying quality. Like for instance, your cookware, like my cast iron and that kind of thing. Good spatulas, good knives. But dishware, I'm so rough on it, I just buy the inexpensive stuff. Let me know if you feel the same way and if you are more careful about your dishware. So this looks like the perfect color here. Looks like it's done, and I think my potatoes only have like 1 or 2 minutes, and I'm going to pop some toast in the air fryer with that. But to finish this up, I'm going to use some black salt, calaminac. This is what will give the tofu scramble a really good eggy flavor. And I like to add it just at the end, because I think if you add it in the beginning, I also, when I'm using this, I don't use any regular salt in here because it will end up being way too salty. So I just like to hit it at the end with this, because if you hit it in the beginning, to me, most of the egg flavor cooks out. But if you hit it right at the end, it keeps that nice eggy flavor. So just a few turns of that. And a little bit goes a long way. Like I said, you don't want it to be too salty. So I'm gonna take this off the heat. Yep, definitely smells like eggs. And I will put my bowl together. These potatoes are amazing. I tasted one. I did end up hitting this with a little bit of smoked paprika. Apparently I can't speak this morning either. Oh, this is gonna be good. And I think I'm going to eat all of this. And my toast is toasting away in the air fryer. I'm debating on whether or not I want to hit this with a little hot sauce. But I think it's going to be just perfect how it is. Let me give it a little taste, make sure I have enough salt and pepper in there. Really good. Okay, I'm gonna clean this pan out while my toast finishes up. Oh yeah, those onions and peppers are cooked perfectly. So this is going to be really good. If you haven't tried a tofu scramble, if you're new to being vegan and not sure about the whole tofu thing, this is one of those recipes I highly recommend for beginner vegans or people that are just looking to add more plant-based meals and are kind of on the fence about tofu. This is a great way to cook it. Really beginner friendly and really tasty. And yeah, it tastes just like scrambled eggs once you put the calamanac on it. It's like magic. It's salt magic. Ooh, hot toast, hot toasty toast. Okay, this is going to be so yummy, super yummy. And as always, I really appreciate you guys sticking with me this week, watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share if you can. If you think anybody could benefit from any of the meals I made, meal ideas this week, or the information that I have, definitely share it. And comment, let me know what you think this week. I appreciate anytime anybody comments on any of my videos. Don't be afraid to throw out ideas and suggestions. We're all learning together and growing together, and I really appreciate you being here. So let me go sit down and enjoy my breakfast, and I will see you in the next video.